Divine Health all over the world. This is Divine Insight for the month of February 2026. And today happens to be our first day. And our topic for today is called Divine Timeline. Or should I say Spiritual Timeline. The question here is, how did I come about this topic? I was seated at the middle of the night, which happens to be February 6th on my birthday, and lots of things were running through my mind, like every regular youth. I was supposed to do this, I'm supposed to do that, I should have this in plans, and other things you can think of. And while I was in my thoughts, there was a voice that spoke in my spirit saying, "How old are you?" And I was like, "What do you mean? How old am I?" The word came again, said, "How old are you?" I said, "I know." You know. So why are you still asking me how old am I? And while I was answering myself, within that space of time, it was as if there was an explanation going in my head. And the best part which I can use to explain my narratives is from the book of John. Let's check John chapter 1. It says, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God." There are three things here. In the beginning, God, the Word. So the Word itself was the beginning. The Word was with God, and the Word itself was God. So they had been present in the Word before they left the Word. They have been present in the beginning. You have been present in the beginning. I have been present in the beginning before I left the Word. I have been in God in the beginning. You have been in God in the beginning. Everything has been in God in the beginning. Before they left God, before they left the Word, before they were formed by the Word and from the Word. Then there is a verse that said, "And the Word was made flesh." So flesh and every forms of material things that we see, that we can hold, we can touch, they were all formed and made by the Word and from the Word. And they have been from the beginning. So if you think you are 50 years old, you are not 50 years old. You have been from the beginning. I don't know how long that might have been. We can count billions and billions of years in time. So talk more of when time was not initiated. Because if you say in the beginning, God had been before the beginning. Before the creation, God had been. So you had been before God started the beginning. You are older than you are. I am older than I am. You can be 100, but you are still older than you are. You can be 24. You can be 26. You can be 28. You can be 35. You are still older than you are. You have been from the beginning. One thing about man is we tend to count based on achievement on earth. Don't let me even go into that. Let me use based on age mark on earth. I am born in so years, so in the year 2026, I am so and so year. You are older than you think. When we came to the flesh, the realms of the flesh, we are more concerned about that when we were just still the Word, than when we were just with God, than when we were God Himself. Before we came into flesh, just as the Word came into flesh. So spiritual timeline is now telling us that every being that exists on earth had been on earth, but there was a timeline that each one of us became flesh. There is, and there will be timelines which every God, before they became flesh, there is a timeline when they will come into the material world and reveal themselves in the form of the flesh. Now, how old are you? Your age is not determined by the numbers of days you started in flesh. Neither is it determined by the number of time that you have been in the Word, that you were the Word and that you were with God, and that you were God. Verse 4 said, in him was life, and the life was the light of men. So your life in flesh is determined by the light you give to men. And there is no way you can get light except you return back to the word, because it was the word that said, let there be light. So if the word would say let there be light, definitely there was light in the word itself. Definitely you were light before you came into flesh. So your depth in the knowledge of light, your knowledge in the person of your spirit, in the person and the form you were before you became flesh, determines how old you are. So someone can be 58 and have little knowledge of the light they were before they became flesh, and they live as someone that is 14. Whereas someone that is 10 might be held by the Spirit of God to understand the level of light that they have, to have good knowledge of their form when they were still word before they became flesh. So that 10 years old having full understanding and knowledge of themselves, they will be seen as someone, or should I say, they will operate in a form older, more elderly than somebody that does not understand their light. Jesus said, don't you know that I'm supposed to be in my Father's house? That man, that guy, this Lord knows whom he was from a very small age. He was not counting from flesh. He was counting from the knowledge of whom he was from the beginning, or before the beginning. You are older than you are. So what I'm saying is, every one of us are the same age. But those that came in the year 1960, those that came before Christ, those that came after Christ, and those that are coming in the years of 2000, we are actually of the same age. The difference is that some are able to find their light, know themselves, get life, and their life helps them to understand more of the divine. You are not the flesh, you are a divine being, you are a light being trapped in the flesh, getting to understand yourself. And the more you know yourself, the older you become. Not your age, not the numbers of years that you used on earth, but the amount of light that you have about yourself before you came to become the flesh. So know your life, know your light, help others find their life and their light. Then that is when you start living. Your time has come.